Stay with them. Church. He was tired of fighting. Lucky kept his promise for a year, but friends kept inviting him to go to church, and finally, he went. He didn't tell his mom. Several years passed, and Lucky graduated from 8th grade. One of his friends planned to go to an Adventist high school, and he also wanted to go there. He asked his mom for permission. Lucky's mom wasn't sure this was a good idea, but Lucky convinced her that the Adventist school had better teachers. Only a month into the school year, Lucky gave his heart to God and got baptized. His mom was initially upset, but after a while, she calmed down. Then something amazing happened. His mom became interested in God. Lucky brought home a Bible from school, and they began to read it together. Then he invited her to go with him to church again. Lucky's mom accepted his invitation, and now she goes to church with him every Sabbath. Lucky is praying that she will give her heart to God. Lucky shared his love for God with his mom through a Bible he borrowed from an Adventist school in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Your 13th Sabbath offering this quarter may help other children also share God with their parents. Part of the offering will be used to give adventurers Bibles to children in Zimbabwe and in the other countries of Southern Africa. Thank you for planning a generous offering.
Morning.
Morning, teacher.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh.
You did a great job
So-
last time.
Yeah. I actually watched part of it, but it made me so sick I couldn't watch the rest of it. I realized how I was all over the place and nervous. This morning, so of course, I'm always running late, so I'm trying to get everything done, and I couldn't find something to wear, and I couldn't, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm on my way here, and there's a dog. It's been stormy, and it looks like a dog that is well taken care of, and he's scared. He's going down in the middle of the road, and he's looking. And I was like, I don't even do social media, but I have lots of family who does. So I was thinking, well, he needs to be on Facebook. Somebody needs to find him. And I was like, no, I have to be on church on time. And then I kept arguing with myself. So I turned around. Yep. Turned around. I took the pictures, texting. Don't do that. While I'm driving down the road going, hey, put this on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And then I get in, coming into Bell. Well, first of all, so I'm praying because I'm starting to feel really anxious. I have anxious spasms. So I started praying, and when I prayed, I looked over to the right, and there was a sign. Somebody has a big sign out there with 3 crosses that says, God is in control. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of snickered, and I was like, okay, you got this. Yeah. And then as I'm coming into Bell, another bad habit of mine is cutting it close with the fuel. The little tank comes on, and I'm like, and it says I have 47 miles, but I'm like, can I get to church? So I'm arguing again with myself, and I was like, God is in control. God is in control. I'm looking at the clock. I ran into the gas station. I got the gas, and by golly, I got here and was able to use the restroom real quick too. I was like, yeah, I was very afraid. So anyway, you guys don't know, time is, I'm not its friend. I'm always pushing the envelope. So anyway, so, okay, we'll have prayer. Father, Thank you for being with me this morning. Thank you for being with all of us, seeing everyone that's here and anyone who's on their way, seeing us safely here. Pray for that dog, too, that you will find its home. And just ask that you are with us as we're all learning together what you have to say to us. Amen. Okay, so I'm going to read first. I'm going to try to be more focused. So I'm going to read this section. It's actually in the teacher's part, but it is about the study focus. So it's just a real short little paragraph, but gives us our introduction and what we're focused on this morning. 10 Commandments. At Sinai, God establishes a covenant with his people. He is the initiator of the contract. As the initiator, God gives grace to his people and he enters a relationship with them. God wants Israel to be his special people, his treasured possession, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. Israel's success will rest on their positive response to God's loving guidance and to the mighty acts that he performed on their behalf in Egypt and on the way to Sinai. God has already invited them to follow him and prove that he plans to give them a bright future, if they only will keep his teachings and if they will only keep his teachings and seek to cultivate a genuine relationship with him. Wow. Then God will be able to lead them in an unprecedented way to the promised land. They need to learn who he is and what he does for them in order to admire, love, obey, and worship him. And the gift of the Decalogue revealed the principles for a happy, balanced, and prosperous life. That's the focus. Okay, so I had questions because, first of all, tell you the truth, Decalogue, I've heard but I guess I thought Decalogue was like, I don't know, the first 5 books in the Bible, which it's not. Decalogue, 10 Commandments. So, and why I don't just say 10 Commandments, have no idea, because there are people like me who have to look all these words up. But one of the first questions I asked is, and now I'm going to ask you, this entire thing, of course, happened thousands of years ago. It happened with a group of people that God chose specifically. In fact, he carved them out, if you will, out of everybody. He carves out this nation called Israel. They're his chosen people. And I don't know, I guess they just really messed up. They didn't listen, blah, blah, blah. They ended up in captivity and they were there for 400 years. And now he's bringing them out. He's talking to them and he makes a covenant with them. First question is, do you think that covenant is our covenant today? Is it, just asking, do you think now we're thousands of years later, is that covenant, that agreement, that contract, does it pertain to us today in 2025? Man, the bugs. Okay.
I want to eat today. There's several times that the covenant gets renewed. You think of it as the new covenant, a new covenant I give you. And things progress as we grow closer to Christ. But it all comes down to, I will take care of you if you obey.
Right.
It all comes down to that. And that is a covenant that is still in good standing today.
So you don't think that it is the same covenant is what you're saying, but that we have now a new agreement based off of the old covenant.
based off the old covenant, but it's more inclusive because we're all taken in as heirs.
Were they not taken in as heirs?
They were the children of Israel.
Okay.
He was speaking directly to the children of Israel.
What is different between that covenant and the one that we have today? What is the new part to it?
Oh, you're asking.
I will write my laws on your heart and in your mind.
Right. So the new part is we don't just have it in stone, but so then another question I guess I'm asking, I just now thought of it, but was it not written in their hearts then?
I think that when God called it a new covenant, it was the same covenant, but it's new because it was a whole different generation. It was a whole different thing that Messiah had already come.
Right. I think that may be the only real difference is that the covenant this is just me. I hadn't studied it out that hard, but Jesus, the covenant prior was a covenant based on what he was going to do for them. And the new covenant is what he has come and he has done for us. So there's the difference. Right.
But
Okay.
it still comes down to if you obey me. These are the things that
Right. And it says that in the New Testament also, even up to Revelation, those who keep my commandments and the testimony of Jesus Christ. Right.
And then I think it's important, so many people will say, well, that was given to Israel, it was given only to the Jews, and that sort of thing. But you can take them to Galatians, and our lesson this week took us to the 3rd chapter of Galatians. And right at the very end of the 3rd chapter, which wasn't part of what they had us read, but it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. If you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise.
Correct. So we are Israel, spiritually speaking.
Spiritual Israel.
Right.
And so all the blessings that God wanted to pour out on them, he's willing to pour out on us too.
Right. Exactly.
We're grafted onto the vine.
Yes.
Right. Right. We're not a part of that group of people, but they were their example of what they did or did not do is for us to help us be grafted. Right. Right. Also was thinking about, because it does mention how that entire thing is an example, which makes me think too that everything that happens in the Bible, I've noticed, is for the present as well as for the future and for the future generations. So when Paul's talking to us, he's talking about his present. He's talking about what happened to them, how they spoke to him then, but now he's speaking to us for how we, where we're at. I would say then also maybe we need to, at least that was my thought, is I need to be very conscious of the fact that what my choices are and what my testimony is will speak either as a warning or as a testimony for the future generation, for the future people. And, so that's how we go. That's right.
That's why we think of it as the living.
Absolutely.
Whatever was said to them is also being said to us.
Right.
And that's why it's important to read the Bible with context of how does this relate.
Right. So God establishes a covenant. He establishes a contract. He establishes a relationship. Earlier in the lesson, it mentions how God is the one. His priority is us. It's you. It's what he gets out of the whole deal is us. I'm not sure that that's a good deal. you know. But that is what, so the memory text said, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now thou, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you will be a special treasure. And it goes on how wonderful we're going to be to him. We are now his people, his children. We're very special to him. And of course, he is our God. He says, you're going to be my people. I'm going to be your God. We have a relationship. I would like to think that when I was praying about it, thinking about it, basically he says obey, but really maybe the word should be, not to correct you, just saying reciprocate. It's not about whether, okay, but it's, and I'm just catching on to this because I've been struggling with obey for a while, obey. But really, in the context of what I've been reading and studying about the covenant, it's reciprocate, husband and wife. One loves, the other reciprocates the love. That's what you get what you give, and so he's basically saying, I love you. I love you. I created you. I'm taking care. I'm providing for you. I'm doing all of these wonderful things for you. You breathe because of me. You have what you have because of me. And now, even when you messed up, me, even though we messed up, now he's like, I died for you. I came, I walked your walk, I've done everything, and here I am. I'm here for you. All I want you to do is love me back. And this week I'm learning that the 10 Commandments is basically not commands, but if we're like, which I surely am, I don't know about any of you, but I've asked the question, how do I do that? How do I get you in my life? How am I good enough for you? And that's our struggle. And if I don't wear makeup, or if I do, or if I eat a hamburger, or if I don't, what the heck? What is it that makes you happy? And he's like, love me back. Love me back. And here's how you love me back. Here's your 10 command, your guidelines.
Top 10.
Right. Here's the top 10. Here's the things that will let me know you love me. When you don't have anybody else in front of you. You think about that with husbands and wives. Back to that. Family. When you don't love everybody else's children but mine. When you don't have other gods, you're not screwing around on me. Hey, that tells me that you love me. When you take time, you're not out there blaspheming. You're not making me look bad, when, right. When, right.
Our family, our dogs, not keeping us.
Right. Yeah.
Might feel like it.
Right, exactly. And there's a thing that says that people who have been together for a really long time, like husband and wife, after a while they start looking like each other. I've heard that joke a zillion times. Well, actually, it's kind of true. And you can tell people who are in the same family. You can just tell a lot of times. Sometimes they don't even look alike, but they all act alike. They have a certain mannerisms,
Have you ever noticed in like the first 5 years where you've gotten so used to the other person you can finish their sentences?
Yes.
She does that to me all the time. I'll say 2 words and she'll go,
Right.
Yeah.
My husband is very Southern. Like if you talk to him, it's like almost a whole nother language. And he has this thing like he'd be talking about something. He'd say, "Yeah, it's a crazy hammer knocker." What? A while after we'd been married for a while, we were talking about somebody who I thought was a little nut, and I said, "Yeah, that was one strange hammer knocker," and then I stopped. I was like, "What just happened?" I sounded just like Craig. Yeah. I mean, and there were other things, but that was the day I realized that we had been together for a while. Yeah. And so, it's, I wasn't around at the time. I don't know where I was. And I don't eat meat, but Craig was raised on it. Of course, he's vegetable friendly too, because he was a farm boy. They had all of it. So, but his daughter-in-law, our daughter-in-law and son, he said that he went to fix dinner. They'd gone, dropped off there, and Dad always has a piece of meat, and then he fixes the vegetables around it. He'd been with me so long, he forgot to fix the meat. They were like, "Whoa." Yeah. So, but that's how we are with circling back around. That's what this whole relationship thing is. With
more like God, more and more like Christ.
Right. And then in the lesson it talks about, they called it, what did they call it? I don't know. Telos. Jesus Christ is the telos of the law. Got out the trusty Google dictionary. Ultimate object and aim. Jesus is the ultimate object and aim of the of us. That's our, and when we're not sure how to where we're at, the law is the mirror. The law, what all did it say about the 10 commandments? They are, sorry, I'm flipping around, but I'm not. So the law is, that may have been in one of those other little teacher helpful books, but it's talking about that it's the mirror, it's the guide, it just helps us. Not that, and we keep reading, and I know I have for zillions of years old. I have been reading it as I got to do this. Although you have to think, well, what's the problem here? I mean, when you really look at the 10 commandments, like, oh, shoot, I can't steal. Darn, I can't lie. So, I mean, I don't know really what the argument is, but whenever you throw that word obey or command in there, we immediately get defensive. Whoa, don't tell me what to do.
I liked when it got to the part about it, the mix of sin. And I got thinking about how we need to look at the 10 Commandments, and we have to see where we're at.
Right.
Individually,
Right.
each one.
Yeah.
And, I might not have any desire whatsoever to commit adultery. I mean, that might not ever, it's just not there anywhere in my life.
At the basest idea of what that is, right.
But, telling a fib here and there might be my problem, or, on the
Right.
other side of the commandments where it's to God, I might be careless with my words.
Right.
We all have our individual things that are trigger points. Satan knows what they are, and he loves to push those buttons. But when we look at the law and we ask God to show us where we fall short
Right.
with each one, and then you aren't doing it as a checklist.
Right.
You're not thinking,
Well, it also.
I got number 4 taken care of, and I got number
Right.
5 taken
Right.
care of. No, that isn't how you do
Right.
it. You do it to reflect back to yourself.
Right.
Because keeping the law isn't what's.
Well, you can kind of, maybe there's a situation. I would think that, I know people keep breaking up the 10 commandments as though the first 4 are about God and the other 6 are about people, which is basically true. But then let's think about, maybe there's a situation that comes up, and are we lying to God? Are we committing adultery to God? Are we coveting something that somebody else has, one of God's other children? Why did you give them that? So now we're throwing some blame on God. You see what I'm saying?
And that's why we really have to look at things like that with a prayer in our heart. Show me
Right.
what I need to change.
Right.
And that's a scary prayer.
Well, that's scary because now it's
responsibilities on your shoulders.
Now, what are you going to, okay, you want to know? And then God says, okay, I'll tell you, this is what I'm observing. You're not real faithful to me over here. You spend way too much time on the television when you could be with me and we could be hanging out, and then you're like, oh, but I really like American Idol. Just saying, Lord. I do. I like American Idol. I've been watching it since season 1. I struggle with it because I like to cheer and vote. I love music and I like to hear them people sing. So that's my little advice, But then if there's something going on, and I have had this struggle, there's prayer meeting or idol. And I'm like, ugh. Sometimes idol has won. I'll just be truthful. It has. It's won because it was like the last episode or something. So that's that's shameful, but it's true. Yeah. It's shameful, and now I'm laughing, but on a different note, it's really not that funny because now what I've said to God is this cheap nothing show, is more important. Right. Yeah. And then I spend the rest of my week feeling shamed and beating myself up instead of just going to God and admitting it and then making a diligent effort not to let him down again in that manner. Not because I'm afraid he won't love me anymore, because God loves me. He's going to love me. I mean, anybody that's married or has children or, or even a puppy, if you don't have anything, but you got a little puppy and they poo on the ground, you love the puppy, but you're not happy that they did that. You love your husband, but you want to choke him. I'm sure that the father does the same with us. It's true. Am I right? He wants to, he's like, oh, you are on my last golden nerve. And that's where we're at with him, that we're pushing him to the ultimate. And I believe that. So anyway, my takeaway this week was, I learned and was able to look at the 10 Commandments, probably very excited because I looked at them for the first time as my reciprocation, my guide, how I can love the Lord back. And I have been struggling with obedience for a long time, I just really have. So I mean, that's me, just confessional.
I like how you realized a way to frame it with reciprocal, with the idea of just wanting to please God rather than some command of obey.
Right.
If you have trouble with that word, then just replace that word.
That's right. Absolutely.
Just know that that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
Getting the whole gist of the whole.
Right. A lot of the questions throughout the lesson were, how do you put God and love to, the law together? How successful have you been in your attempts to obey God? Blah, blah, blah. I left them all blank because I was like, ooh, I don't have enough paper for all that, but yeah. So then it says, how does the law point to Jesus? And of course, the law, we've just discussed that. The law points to Jesus because that's his character. He's not a liar. He always put God first, even to the point of death. He absolutely loves us, even when we spit on him, have been disobedient, even when we have been, and even thousands of years later, we are still a part of the people who put him on the cross. And you know, that's just, it's a grim reality. But every time I am not in that wave, you know, where I'm loving him and wanting to be a part of that, then I believe I'm a part of the people that put him on the cross every day. So, and that cross is very important. I mean, not just that he gave his, but I like the emblem. And I know a lot of people are, I don't know, they, I like the emblem of the cross, you know, because now we're looking at my relationship, your relationship, our relationship between God and us. And then how do we reciprocate that? By loving each other. By loving each other. So God loves me, I love God, we love each other. Now we got hands. We're holding on to each other, we're helping each other. I mean, I don't know how much more flipping reality could it be, or simple, and yet we make it difficult, you know. And we make it difficult. You know, somebody stepped on my toes, well, get your toe out of the way. It's just, you know, or I don't know, I just, we need to stop and think about that. I mean, that's the lesson. Sorry, I don't have any more. I know you guys want me to keep on talking, but I don't have more. That's the lesson right there.
In Thursdays where I talked about it being a promise,
Yes.
the idea of it being a promise.
Yes.
And I thought that was pretty amazing.
Right. And it is. They mention that it's that it is but what is the promise?
Many things that word stands.
But what is the promise? The promise is, I mean, we sometimes we're like, oh, the promise, you know, I don't know what we think the promise is, but we're like, oh, I'm going to get a car, or if I do this and that, I'm going to have a great life. He doesn't say all of that. What he says is, you're not going to be a liar. You're going to be a person with some integrity. You know, you're going to have a backbone. This is what God's promise is. He's going to turn us into a real human being that we can admire when we look in that flipping mirror. Just saying. Yes, ma'am.
What I saw when I came in, he was standing in the shadow of the cross.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, you know, Christ was the
Right.
toward his Father, and then
And that's right. That's right. And he gave his all. I mean, when you do that right there, you ever see people even singing or just exasperate, is I give my all. I mean, you can just feel the pain of it, really, you know, and the exasperation of it. I'm giving you everything, you know, and we are so slow and so dull that here we are, thousands of years later, still trying to figure it out. Oh, and by the way, so, okay, doesn't have anything to do with the lesson, but I did see it on the news this morning because my phone flips. Anyway, so I've heard and I've read about when Jesus comes back, before he comes back, and I don't know, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some sign about the hand that is seen in the sky. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I was supposed to be the size of a man's hand.
Woohoo! Okay, where's my phone? So, not kidding you. Now I'm gonna look into this, but I screenshotted the entire thing. It is, did you see it on the news? Okay, wait. Photo, because I don't know if it's still there or not, but I screenshotted the whole thing, and I wish you could see this. Anyway, let's start with the very beginning. NASA captures cosmic hand reaching through 150 light years of space in stunning new image. Unveiled a breathtaking new image. They showed the picture of it, and it is a hand. You can see it with the finger. I mean, A lot of people don't know, but I have read that before. Ellen White or somebody had said, right, was talking about the hand. And so anyway, it's a cosmic hand stretching across, blah, 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 I already read that part. And a pulse, anyway, and it goes on to describe it. They have pictures of it. Anybody interested in it? I'm excited. Huh? Well, evidently, they actually saw the beginnings of it in 2009, I believe it was, or 6. I have to read the article again. I also went to, they have, where is it at? It's the whole thing is published in the Astrophysical Journal. So I went there and and saved the, but 2009 when they first started seeing it. And now it has continued to come and get bigger. I mean, to me, it, like, I believe in Jesus and I believe, and I'm all excited, but that right there, I'm like, that, it was like, I don't know, like this could happen now. I was pretty excited about it.
I remember once in elementary school, we saw this little tiny cloud, and it was about, it even had like emotions of in the front, like fingers like this. And we ran into the teacher, and we said, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming.
Right.
And he wanted to have us, well, show me what is it that you're seeing? And he came out, I mean, God bless him, he honored us kids' curiosity about the whole thing. And he came out and looked, and he says, well, that is how it's going to start. But we have not reached the time where that's going to happen.
Well, I'm thinking we have reached the time. I was pretty excited.
I'm really old and we're talking.
Oh, there it is. Awesome. There it is. Look, you can see the thumb and the fingers. I'm the whole thing, it just really sent shivers up my spine this morning when I saw that.
That's how you're late to things, is you get caught up in
Yes, sir.
Like yourself.
Has anybody been paying attention to what's going on over there with the Euphrates River? Been drying up.
Oh, yeah. It's been drying up for a while. Yeah.
It's a lot of,
There are a lot of signs. I mean, there are a lot of signs that tell you.
Yesterday, going to Walmart in Trenton, I saw a triple rainbow. I've seen a double that was
Yeah, I have too.
beautiful. This one was not that amazingly beautiful, but it was amazing that
There was 3. No kidding. I don't think I've ever seen one either. That's amazing.
And seeing an entire circle of rainbow around the sun. That's just one of the most amazing things to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the shadow area.
Right.
I haven't seen that part of it, but I certainly saw the rainbow around the sun.
I see it every day, all the time.
So I get the bottom line is that we have the signs, we have the commandments. The commandments are reciprocal. So let's remember that the next time you're reading it. It's not thou shalt blah, or I'm going to strike you, but it really is, if you love me, you're going to love me back. And here's how I know you love me back. Just like your relationships, right? If you're good to people and my husband fixes me breakfast every morning. I know he loves me. He takes care of me. I mean, he's a good guy. Yeah, there are times I could, take him out. But I love him dearly. He's a good guy, and I know that he loves me. When he tells me that, I believe him because of what he does for me back. And that's what those commandments are.
We need to know the word because there are signs that are to happen before Christ comes.
Right.
And we know the Sunday law is one of them.
Right.
And persecution.
But here's what I want to say about that, and I agree. I agree that we should recognize the signs, and I think that we're not so dull that we can't see some of them anyway, all over the place, including politically. However, if we don't have that give and take relationship with God, I don't care how many signs you see, it's going to mean nothing.
Absolutely.
You can say, woohoo, well, they were right, as he fries you. Just saying. I might, looking on the glass on the outside at all of you guys on the inside, I'll be like, bye. I knew all that stuff. I could see him, but I didn't pursue. And there's a word that we need. We need to pursue God. We need to look for him. I mean, not like he's lost or anything, but he says as for treasure. Who is God to you? Is he important enough? And it's not just about us. You think about, this right here, we're talking about our children and our spouses and our friends. And if we aren't reaching out and loving them, we all lose out. Everybody loses. We go to heaven alone. Well, and if you're alone, you're not in heaven. You're just not there. We got to grab each other and tell each other about our experiences, our relationship with God. There you go. That's yeah. Make me cry.
Let's have a closing.
Oh, yeah, right.
Father in heaven, we're so very grateful for the chance that we've had to be together today and to open your word and to have a way of looking at things that really brings your living word right into our own lives. Help us to take a good look at those 10 commandments. Help us to look at each one of them with a prayerful heart to show us where we are lacking. And then be able to just out of pure love for you, strive to obey and to reciprocate all of the love that you send to us and we send it back to you. Bless Ryan with her talent to teach. She doesn't think she has it, but she does. And just bless all of us for the chance that we've had to be part of this lesson today. Bless the next service. Help us to all go home today with ideas that keep us close to you all week long. Amen.
Amen.